What have you done that your parents punished you for? I watched my dad collapse in our kitchen, and instead of calling 911, I drove him to the hospital myself. It was illegal because I was 13 without a license, but the ambulance would have taken 40 minutes, and I knew he didn't have that long. My dad had diabetes, and he'd been managing it for years. That morning seemed normal until I heard a thud from the kitchen. I found him on the floor, sweating and shaking. His glucose meter showed 32, dangerously low. He was barely conscious, mumbling words that made no sense. I called 911 first. They said rural response time was 30 to 40 minutes. We lived 20 miles from town on a farm road. I looked at Dad's gray face and knew he wouldn't last that long. His emergency glucagon shot wasn't working. His body was shutting down. Mom was at her sister's 3 hours away. Our nearest neighbor was 5 miles down the road. I had two choices: wait and watch him die or break the law. I'd been driving farm equipment since I was 10. Dad taught me to drive his truck around our property for emergencies, never on real roads, but this was the emergency he'd prepared me for without knowing it. I dragged him to the truck, which took forever because he weighed twice what I did. Got him in the passenger seat and buckled him in. His head kept rolling forward. I slapped his face to keep him conscious and told him to stay with me. The keys were on the hook. I adjusted the seat all the way forward, could barely reach the pedals, started the engine and pulled out onto the main road. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely grip the wheel. 20 miles felt like 200. I drove slow but steady, hazards on, praying no cops would stop me. Other cars honked and passed angry. I didn't care. I kept talking to Dad, asking him questions about the farm, about Mom, anything to keep him responding with grunts. Twice he stopped breathing for a few seconds. I reached over and shook him hard while trying to keep the truck straight. Each time he gasped back to life. I pulled into the emergency entrance and laid on the horn. Nurses came running. They got him on a stretcher fast. One asked where my mom was. I told her I drove him myself. She looked at me different then, like she couldn't believe it. They saved him. Doctor said 10 more minutes and his organs would have started failing. Brain damage would have been permanent. Because I drove illegally, he lived. Police showed up an hour later. Hospital had to report an underage driver. The officer listened to my story and looked at my dad hooked to machines. He wrote something in his notebook, tore out the page, and handed it to me. It was a warning for driving without adult supervision. My parents had different reactions. Mom cried and held me for an hour. Dad woke up confused but grateful. Then they grounded me for 3 months. No phone, no games, extra chores every day. Had to write a 5-page essay about why breaking the law was dangerous. I wrote it, did my punishment without complaining, but I'd do it again tomorrow. Some rules exist to keep order. Others exist to be broken when life demands it. That day the law said let him die. Love said save him. My dad's alive today because I chose love over law. He jokes that I'm the only 13-year-old who got grounded for saving a life. We both know it was worth every second of punishment. Sometimes doing the right thing means accepting the consequences. I learned that 13-year-olds shouldn't drive. I also learned that sometimes they have to.